Well, my journey in the Indian Police Service, I spent 36 years serving in the Indian Police Service before demitting the office. It was a pleasant accident to join the civil services. I never thought of actually joining the civil services. I wanted to become a technocrat, an engineer, and I was working in that particular direction, but due to the peer pressures and a group of friends, we thought that we will write the civil services. And I wrote the civil service in the year 1984. And in the first chance, I'm probably lucky that I got into the Indian Police Service and joined. Well, from that time onwards, it was different for my life. What I did during that particular period of time and coming to the God's own country, beautiful state of Kerala, and working with the people here, many of the things I could learn or I could give, but sometimes that backfire effect was there. I joined here as an ASP in Alapura, where I got the training. Then I came to Cochin as Assistant Commissioner of Police. Then I went to Kannur as SP, then went to Deputy Commissioner of Police in Trivandrum, then came back to Cochin and spent almost 4 years as the youngest ever police commissioner here. I was very young at that time. Then from that time, then I went to Government of India. I went to the Central Bureau of Investigation and worked there for 11 years. And after coming back to Kerala, then I was working as the IG. Then I was called to build NIA. And that was a great experience for me to build the National Investigation Agency from scratch. And then I came back after 5 years to Kerala State and became an ADGP here. Then I became the Chief of the Police as well as Chief of Vigilance also. I also held the post of Director General of Fire Force and the prisons. What I always feel that sometimes you do certain things on the basis of some feedbacks or your mind telling you something, but sometimes it also actually doesn't give you the desired results or there is a criticism for that. I'll give you an example that when I became the DG here, the first thing I thought of women's security. And I still remember in 2016, on August 15th, we launched the Pink Patrol. The Pink Patrol was a very new concept because the cars, the patrol cars, police cars will be driven by women, and all the people there in the car will be women police officers. When it was launched, it was not very smooth. First of all, there were criticisms saying that what is the requirement of putting the women into difficult situations? But I stood by what I thought. And the women, the biggest challenge was the drivers, the women driving the cars 24/7 on a shift basis. So somebody told me that, women are not very good drivers. But I was very surprised. After a month, one lady driver came to my office, my DG's office, and told me that she has been adjudged as the best driver by Toyota and she got the trophy. So, my conviction that women can do wonders was vindicated. And today, pink petrol, not only in Kerala, but in various parts of the country, including Delhi, has made a lot of news. And they protect the women. This is one of the things that there may be some backfire sometimes like this, but if you are actually very strategic, you are convinced, nothing is going to change and nothing is actually going to be adversarial to you. I have large number of incidents I can tell you. Interestingly, when I was in the CBI, I was asked to actually investigate a case of a young woman who was killed in Ranchi, and there was a bullet which was actually recovered near the site. And after so much of investigation, we could not actually connect the bullet to a firearm. And that was a kind of decision I am very afraid even today that how did I take that particular decision. Then I told my officers that, look, we will examine all the firearms in Ranchi, ballistic examination, thousands and thousands of weapons. And it was heavily criticized, not only by the media, but by officers and the scientific community. This is actually not done. So much of actually work. It took almost 6 months to examine all these these particular weapons. And trust me, one particular weapon matched and we cracked the case. That is actually happens when you are convinced, you stick to that, and you actually handle the criticism or handle the negatives and do all these things. I will give you an example because nowadays people are actually, you must have seen the movie called Dhurandhar. Many of you might have seen. Many of the incidents which have been depicted there, actually the cases which I did during my time in the NIA, that was actually taken from that. So when I was sent to examine David Coleman Headley in Chicago, before that, what happened in Mumbai attack case, the 26/11 case, not many people knew. The intricate conspiracy which was hatched in Pakistan and how it was executed was told to us by Headley. And in fact, Headley's interrogation report, which runs to hundreds of pages, is there in the public domain. You can anytime download and see that. And trust me, we were not very confident that whether Headley will speak everything what he knew. But maybe because of our strategy, our skill level, we could actually convince him that he has to speak truth. And it came out. And it was so profoundly elaborate, big. And it doesn't actually confine only to the Mumbai attack, but it also talked about certain other things which happened. So that was also a kind of conviction without actually thinking negative and doing everything positive, we could extract that particular thing. Similarly, if I start talking about the stories, there are a number of stories which came in my life. It's very interestingly, when I was actually the DG, we actually proposed to the government, to the Honorable Chief Minister, saying that these police stations in Kerala, they are one of the best institutions compared to many other states. We will have not the sub-inspector as the chief of that police station. We'll put an inspector who is actually more experienced to handle police station. So nowadays, if you go to a police station, there is an inspector. the circle inspector concept was taken away. There were a lot of criticism saying that it should not have been done. The sub-inspectors feel belittled. But we stopped. But it produced results because the persons, the inspectors were more experienced and they could deliver better service. Why I am talking all these things in the TEDx? All of you are going to be engineers, and many of the engineers also these days join the civil services, whether in the IAS or in the IPS or in the Indian Foreign Service or income tax, etc. This particular, you will be learning from your institution, you will be having some kind of innovative mind to do something very good. When you start actually thinking in those lines and you implement that, you can be sure that there will be some backfire. There will be something what you expected may not actually come in the initial time. Whether there will be any kind of things we can do a course correction during implementation of a particular scheme, we can. On the basis of various inputs for whom you have devised a scheme can be also done, whether it is an engineering also. Because now I am actually heading an organization, KMRL, which is full of engineers. They come out with various ideas. And those ideas sometimes also do not produce the desired result, but we do a little course correction. That is inevitable because the scheme is there, but how to optimize, maximize the effect of the scheme, it is on the basis of the feedbacks. So, what I wanted to tell the audience here is that when you actually think in those terms that I am going to produce something new, there will be some kind of effect. If you can actually perceive that during the implementation of the scheme, then you can take care during the time when it was done. When I was police commissioner here, I thought that we will be putting the vehicles, police vehicles, which you are seeing now as control room vehicles, 24/7 on the road. So that if you make a call, that time it was 100, the vehicle will reach you within 10 minutes. And there will be police help to be given immediately to the person before he goes even to a police station. It was started in Cochin in 1992. When it came, there were two opinions. One, even very leading newspapers, they supported saying that we have taken the policing to the people. But some people said this is very expensive and this actually is not required in a state like Kerala, which is not a police state. But I actually thought that the kind of the dividends I am getting from these control room vehicles is bigger than or better than the criticism which is coming. So we stuck to that. And we started with 4 vehicles only in Kochi. And today we have more than 35 vehicles in Kochi city, more than 30 vehicles in Trivandrum, maybe around 25 or vehicles in Kozhikode, and also in other places. So that we put it that once you make a call, you will get that police help in 7 minutes. That is the actually kind of thing. So you can always do it. So what that time also, we knew that when the police in odd hours go to a particular place, there will be some kind of actually, if the behavior is not good of the police people who are manning these control room vehicles, then it will be a backlash. In the dead of the night, if somebody goes and misbehaves with a lady of a house, rather than sorting out the problem, it will not have no actually effect. It will have a negative effect. So what we do, that we selected the people to man the control room vehicles, which is now also being followed. They are and they have given some soft skill training of behavior, how to handle actually a situation, how to talk to a lady, how to talk to a older persons. All these things are taught to them so that this experiment became extremely successful. So, coming to the leadership, you are going to be the leaders, whether you are in engineering field or in management or in governance or in administration, because you are studying in a very highly ranked engineering college. Now, how do you actually think about it? I always keep the young minds that today people have to become innovative. The difference between invention and the innovation is this. If Graham Bell invented telephone, bringing smartphone is an innovation. So that is how I put it as innovation. I'm not going to the lexicons of the definition. Lastly, I conclude by saying that backfire effect is inevitable in anything, whether it is a design or engineering or administration. But there are two ways to handle. One, you do the course correction after the scheme is implemented, if it is not giving the desired result. Don't be very sticky that I have to only stick to this particular thing. But the best part is that when you are launching a scheme or a new program, if you can think that what can be the backfire effect, and accordingly I do actually incorporate the solutions inside the scheme, that will be the best. So I am grateful to all of you to have given me 18 minutes time, whether to actually I have actually spoken the right things or not, it is you to evaluate. But I only say that be focused and be innovative, and that is will stop the backfire effect. Thank you, God bless you, and Jai Hind.